Head coach Dana Altman just confirmed that he will be available for this game. He's not starting and was just cleared for practice, full contact yesterday. He's required to wear that full face mask. He's still getting used to it, but he was really aggressive around the rim during warm-ups. He'll be a big add for Oregon tonight. Yeah, we talk about not knowing what to expect with Arizona coming into the year. How about Oregon? They lose Wooten for the last 4 games. Bol is out for the season.
He's here tonight, not playing. You know that mask that Kenny's going to wear? You may need that quickly.
Here's Coleman for 3. Justin Coleman, who's shooting 41% from 3, a grad transfer from Samford. You look at the starting 5 for Oregon, led by Peyton Pritchard, a second-team All-Pac-12 a year ago. And Lewis King has been brilliant, 19 points, 9 rebounds in Pac-12 play.
This crowd is fired up. The pride of the Conference of Champions. 34 straight years. Philip McHale, not related to Kevin, but still. Tremendous start.
That's Lewis King with the jumper.
Now everybody can sit down, I guess.
Including you, thank you.
Breath.
Brandon Williams and Brandon Randolph, along with Justin Coleman. Randolph is the most improved scorer in all of college basketball, going from about 3 points per game last year to 16.
I don't know about you, but I like to watch the game. And so when everybody's standing up, I can't see. Out of bounds, Ryan Luther.
Luther is starting for Emmanuel Acott, who left the team this week.
Most interesting. Emmanuel Acott starting the last 11 games, playing 20 minutes a game, and his team is undefeated in the Conference of Champions. And he says, well, I'll just quit. You explain it.
I got no explanation for that.
Come on, you're the king of the unexplainable. Paul White, who's been playing tremendous basketball.
Gets into the paint, misses, and corralled by Brandon Williams.
These 2 great coaches here. Brandon Williams coming off fantastic plays. Couldn't draw it up better than that. Drive the lane, bring the defenders.
That was Chase Jeter with the basket, and then
Ryan Luther was out of bounds.
Yep, it'll stay with Oregon. How about Chase Jeter, the transfer from Duke, McDonald's All-American?
When you get all these guys guarding you down in the lane like that, and you're a little guy like Brandon Williams who's playing his best basketball, I love the pace of this game and the skill. Wow. Lewis King is just exploding onto the scene. He was in the shadows of Bol, and that's a massive shadow. But now he is emerging, shaping the light and focusing the image.
Bill, Oregon is coming off a 21-point win over USC, which came just a couple of days after we witnessed a historic collapse. They had a 9-point lead with 50 seconds left and lost the game to UCLA.
A game they never should have lost. They were the better team by an incalculable margin for 97.6% of that game.
White, nice cross-court feed. King rising. Can't get the 3. Cleared by Jeter.
Louis the King. Highway 61, Mac the Finger. Let's go. We got it all together here tonight.
Williams misfires. Offensive rebound by Luther.
Nice.
Goes right back up and puts it in.
Ryan Luther from Pittsburgh. This whole program here, the players program, full of Pittsburgh guys.
That's because Sean Miller is from there, went to school there. In fact, his family's known the Luther family for a long time.
Justin, the trainer. TJ McConnell. Austin Carroll was born there, spent the first 10 years of his life while his dad was coaching at Duquesne.
Good defense by Jeter against Okoro. They don't have shot blocking on this team like they've had in the past. As Pritchard hits it, you think of all the 7-footers Arizona's had year in, year out. They had 2 last year, so they lose that, but Chase Jeter draws a lot of charges.
Well, Chase Jeter had the privilege of playing against DeAndre Ayton and Deuce Ristich all year. Love the offensive attack by Ryan Luther. Been a little hesitant trying to feel his way here.
Yeah, they want him to shoot that. He can make it. He's a 40% three-point shooter.
You have to attack on a constant basis. You can't just sit there and wait for the game of life to fall in your lap, please.
And we're going to have a foul here as White was trying to back down the smaller Justin Coleman.
Justin Coleman, his first personal.
Dana Altman in his 9th season. He needs 16 wins, Bill, to become the all-time winningest coach in Oregon history.
That would be Ernie Kent.
It would.
Dana Altman belongs in the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's a disgrace that he's not there.
Well, I think he'll get there at some point. It's not that shocking he's not in yet.
What are they going to do? Wait till he's dead?
Williams Kicks it out, Luther. They work it around to Randolph.
Lewis King playing phenomenal in every aspect. Closeout defense, rebounding, running the lane.
Yeah, Randolph hasn't had a shot yet. Here's Luther. Misses again. Rebounded by Victor Bailey.
But keep taking that shot. You got a rebounding advantage.
Pritchard, no. The putback is good, and Oregon has the lead. We mentioned that Arizona's lost only 4 times at home in the last 5 years. One of those defeats against the Ducks 3 years ago.
I was here. Remarkable. Pat Kilkenny here in attendance that night, here in attendance again tonight, and bringing the same guest that he had, Jason from Dos Gringos, the largest sunflower grower in the world.
Here's a lob to Jeter that hit the rim.
But Lewis the King is just everywhere. And so quick. What a body.
He's a freshman. He had a knee injury last January, so he missed the first 7 games of this season, overcoming that torn ACL.
He's had 2 knee surgeries, but they got a fantastic new strength and conditioning coach, Evan Van Biesler, replacing Adam Linnitz. Oh, come on. You got to throw that down.
Great pass by King.
Francis Okoro, just a freshman from Nigeria.
Holman drives. And Williams going to have a foul on the floor. The first on Oregon. 5 minutes gone by. 1 point. Ducks lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Boost Mobile. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
Oregon with a 1-point lead over Arizona. As you look at Bol Bol, who's out for the season after left foot surgery, he'll go to the NBA. Played in 9 games this year, averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. He's from the Sudan. You played against his dad, Manute Bol. Played his senior year of high school at Findlay Prep. We talked about the numbers this year. Had that foot injury December 12th. He's still enrolled in school. You spoke with him earlier today, and as Bill, somebody who had his career ended because of foot injuries. What advice did you give to Bol Bol today?
To take his time and to understand he's a very young guy. He's the middle of 9 children at home. So he's got a situation in his life where he has to just take a big, deep breath and step back and understand that health is everything. I told him to spend his time, which he's going to have a lot of, not sitting there thinking about his foot, but thinking about the rest of his life. Develop new skills. Succeed in the classroom. Become a technology wizard and master. Learn how to do things you don't know how to do now and let your foot get all the way better. It was surgically repaired, and we can only hope that he's going to have a chance. Whoa. Because this guy, I never saw him play. I just met him today for the first time. Super nice dude. Grew up there in Kansas. Just really hope that it plays out for this guy. It's just a heartbreaking situation that happened to him.
Brandon Williams hit the 3. Molly has more on Bol Bol.
Yeah, Dave, and that last time out, Sean Miller really emphasizing effort to his Arizona team. He's telling them, no matter how hard they're playing, you have to match how hard they play. They're crashing the glass, and he said Oregon has 3 offensive rebounds right now. You can't allow those second shots. That is changing this game for us.
Here's Lewis King on the drive, swatted away by Lee, and Kenny Wooten is in the game after missing the last 4 games with a broken jaw. You see the mask on his face. He had the basket the last time down court for Oregon.
Ira Lee, who had the play of the millennium in the Conference of Champions over the weekend at Cal, with a throwdown that is indescribable.
Here's White for 3.
Paul White's been making that 3-point shot. He was spectacular the last couple of games. Really solid numbers. He got a very quiet personality, Paul does. If he could open that up a little bit, not be shy like me, he'd be doing a lot better.
Hope he stays away from you in that case. Barcelo is on the floor right now, a sophomore from Chandler, Arizona.
Look at Lewis the King.
How about Ira Lee getting on the floor there too defensively? Shot clock at 5 and the basket. Let's see if they count it. They're going to stay on the floor, I think.
Dylan Smith.
Let's see, count the basket for Dylan Smith. It'll go to the line.
Sean Miller loves this guy. I'm still waiting to see it. But he's from Mobile, Alabama. With a name like Dylan, how could you not think of stuck inside of Mobile? The rag man drawing circles up and down the block. I ask him what the matter is, but he don't talk. Stuck inside of Mobile, if he can break out of his shell,
You just mentioned a rock band, which means I feel bad for Noreen.
I feel good for Maureen. I'm trying to help her out.
The mother of Kevin McKenna, who's an assistant coach for the Oregon Ducks, who told us last week that every time you mention a rock band, she has a sip of Bailey's as she watches the game back in Minnesota. So you started rattling off all these rock bands like
Beach Boys,
15 in a row.
Rolling Stones, Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
Go for it, Noreen. The night is young.
Not if you keep this up. It'll be over at halftime for Noreen.
We're just getting started. This is the Conference of Champions. We're in shape. We're ready to go.
2-point lead for Arizona. 7 minutes gone by here at McHale. Shot clock is at 5. King. Here's Wooten.
Look at Ira Lee.
No second chance opportunities at all for Oregon.
Ira Lee is going to be a star in this league and beyond. A physical power, just a presence that will intimidate and scare the life out of any opponent. I want to be his teammate. I had a teammate like him once before, Maurice Lucas.
Coleman again, short, and there is the importance of Wooten. He's an excellent rebounder, terrific shot blocker as well. He led the Pac-12 in blocks a year ago. Dana Altman told us before the game, it's all about the mask. There's no minutes restriction or anything. It's just how does he feel wearing that mask as he takes it strong there and draws a foul. All right, this season NCAA coaches and Infinity are taking a timeout to fight cancer with Infinity's $1 million donation to the American Cancer Society. Sean Miller, 4 Elite 8 appearances, now in his 10th season as the head coach at Arizona, 3-time conference coach of the year, won the regular season and conference tournament championship a year ago. This is an Infinity Timeout for the win. Learn more at infinitytimeout.com.
A star-studded Saturday full of NBA, college hoops, and UFC on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ABC.
Terrific day on ABC and ESPN. Also on Saturday, Kentucky, Auburn. And how about that?
That's going to be a game.
And Virginia Duke will follow at 6 Eastern. Virginia, of course, gives up the fewest points in the ACC, and Duke scores the most, but Duke gave up 95 to Syracuse the other night. Granted, they went to overtime. How about that's the first time that Duke has lost at home as a #1 team to anybody other than North Carolina, ever.
You sound surprised. When you're good, you always win at home. That's the easy part. Getting out on the road, and that's what Coach K is just absolutely brilliant.
Kenny Wooten at the line. Molly, go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Dave. Dave, you mentioned there's no minutes limitation on Kenny Wooten, but that mask has been bothering him in the timeout. He immediately threw it off, and medical training staff were cleaning it for him, and coaches were telling him, you need to just forget about that, stay aggressive because they're not doubling you.
Easy to talk about forgetting it, but it's there, and every time you breathe, it just gathers all the condensation and it fogs over. And anybody who's ever had to wear a mask, Kenny Wooten high above the basket to make that defensive stop, you can't stand it, but you have to do it. Just part of the rules of getting out there with a broken bone and a metal plate in your face.
How many times did you have to wear a mask?
Too many times. A lot.
Would you like to wear one now?
No, but you're going to need one if you keep going like this.
9 minutes in,
remember,
Arizona by 1.
Today is Muhammad Ali's birthday. And you know what he said? Beautiful play, Chase Feeder, who keeps getting better and better. You know what Muhammad Ali said?
What's up?
He'd walk up to a stranger and say, hey, how tall are you? And the guy would say, why? Because I want to know how far I have to step back when I level you and you fall.
It's not a nice thing to say to somebody, just a perfect stranger.
Look, if you need a quote about confidence, check out Muhammad Ali. Also, happy birthday to Michelle Obama, Jim Carrey.
And Alonzo Trier, who, by the way, today, the former Arizona Wildcat, was called for goaltending at the buzzer.
I saw that.
Which resulted in the game-winning basket for Washington in an NBA game in London against the Knicks.
The globalization. Yes. Thank you, David Stern. Thank you, Adam Silver.
And Saturday, by the way, the UFC is on ESPN Plus as we're talking about the fighting sports. I know you're a big UFC guy. It's on ESPN Plus Saturday night.
I like to shape the light and focus the image. I like to use my Interferometer.
Miles Norris on the floor for Oregon right now. It's a 3-point Arizona lead. There are 3 teams left in the Pac-12 that are unbeaten in conference play. Arizona 4-0, Washington 3-0, and Oregon State 3-0.
They got a team. And the schedule that the Arizona Wildcats are on right now, the Oregon schools, both of them are excellent. Then the Wildcats go to Los Angeles, both schools playing real good ball. And then the Wildcats go up to Tempe. Yeah, the Sun Devils. Oh, poked in the eye there.
Chase Jeter just threw the ball up in frustration after he took a shot to the face, but you can't turn it over like that. Bailey misses a 3.
Yeah, you say that. Let me poke you in the eye and see how you do. You know, the old Three Stooges defense.
I think with those fingers of yours, it go right through my head. Brandon Randolph still without a point. He's only taken 1 shot. They've done a good job against him in this zone.
They're winning. Please. You don't put any value on winning, do you?
Jeter couldn't handle that pass. Now
nice Chase Jeter. Tip it in.
Was that him or was that Norris that batted it in?
It'll be given to Chase Jeter.
I know that.
It's
I just was curious what happened.
It's the team that gets the basket, okay?
Oregon
this
has
is
missed
not fantasy basketball.
Oregon has missed his last 8 shots, by the way.
Well, offense will always be the challenge. You take your 2 best players off any team. Would it still be Showtime if Kareem and Magic weren't there? Would it still be the Bulls if Michael and Scotty weren't there?
Nice drive that time by Will Richardson.
This guy's awesome.
He's really stepped up his play.
He has come alive. The first time I saw him, I said, who is he? He had the big Jimi Hendrix haircut, and now he's.
Good defense by Ehab Amin, who's one of the all-time greats in terms of steals. He led the country a couple years ago when he was at Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
He's right up there with Cleopatra and Mark Antony.
Stop.
Alexander the Great.
Why do you keep saying that? Does he know that you talk about this?
He's from
like
Alexandria, Egypt, one of the hubs of the universe. Over the top!
Broken up by Norris.
Great defense by
Norris. And then Amin on the other end misses it.
Great defense.
But gets it back. Amin with a steal and a kick out wide open. Bailey got to make that, and he does.
Fantastic basketball. The Oregon Ducks, men of Oregon. Sean Miller has seen enough. Turnovers leading to 3-pointers. The Ducks right back into it, flying with wings of their own. Ehab Amin poking this ball away. Presence of mind, finding a guy who's great as can be. Let it fly. Here in Arizona, the rain is pounding down in California. 75 degrees here today as we approach the Super Blood Wolf Moon coming up this weekend.
Also this weekend, Kentucky and Auburn at 4 Eastern, and then Zion Williamson and Duke against Virginia. They're actually both ranked number 1. Duke is number 1 in the AP poll. Virginia's number 1 in the coaches poll. It's the first time in ACC history that's ever happened when they'll play each other. Zion Williamson at 35 points the other night, the most by a freshman in a single game in Duke history, breaking Marvin Bagley and J.J. Redick's record of 34 points.
I love the way Zion plays. I love his personality. He's a happy person who just enjoys the celebration of life through sports. He's got tremendous teammates around him. Coach K's got the challenge, though, of how to replace Trey Jones. And how long is he going to be out with that bad shoulder?
Going to be a while.
Oh, thanks. Longer than 1 game?
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Thanks, Doctor.
You don't watch Sports Center, do you? I don't always have to give you the news. You're supposed to keep up on this stuff. Ryan Luther underneath.
Beautiful play, Chase Jeter.
Missed it, got it back, and then it's blocked by Okoro, and now a held ball. It will go to Oregon.
Possession belongs to Oregon.
Francis Okoro.
Arizona, number 12, Justin Hall.
When Jeter had the ball down there, you come in here with the Three Stooges defense, just come right into the face. That's what happened to Zion as well. And Chase's question is, hey, if I get poked in the face when I have the ball, how is that not a foul? And if that's not a foul, if I punch you in the face, Mr. Referee, is that a foul?
That would be. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't play college basketball ever again.
Well, Spencer Haywood did that. That led to the changing of the rules.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That wouldn't fly now.
No, he got kicked out. Never played college again.
It'd be a lot worse now, trust me.
You know who Spencer Haywood is?
Of course.
Okay.
There's another three. Bailey's hit 2 of them in a row, and Oregon now has a 3-point lead.
Oregon today, Dana Altman is just brilliant. He has a wonderful game plan. The players buy into it. They execute that game plan. They play a tight rotation, and Dana is a great enough coach that when somebody's going well, he leaves them in and he milks them until they collapse from exhaustion. Traveling violation. Easy play to call. Thank you, John.
That's John Higgins. 8 turnovers by Arizona. Oregon has not turned the ball over yet.
So Oregon, they got pounded at home by Oregon State. They should have won that game. They should have won the UCLA game. I mean, they are just a couple of mistakes away from being undefeated in the Conference of Champions.
Yet they're 1-2 and in 8th place.
And if they win this one, they'll be 500 and on their way. Beautiful play.
That's Bailey who gets it to go.
As athletically a gifted a player in today's Conference of Champions.
He scored 8 straight points, and he's been getting a lot better since conference play began. He's a sophomore from Austin, Texas. Both his parents athletes. His dad played in the NFL. His mom was a 400-meter Olympic medalist.
Travis Okoro's really playing defense. Blocking shots like Akeem Olajuwon, keeping them in play.
Here's Amin for 3.
The Egyptian Pharaoh. Travis Okoro keeping it alive. He didn't even play basketball until he came to America.
Williams, no. The tip won't go by Luther. Another shot at it, and he'll go to the line.
Ryan Luther just making it all happen here. From Pittsburgh, huge Steeler fan. Ben Roethlisberger was his hero. Ryan Luther played high school football in the Pittsburgh area, about 10 miles north in the suburbs. He was a quarterback and the punter. You're old enough to know who Ray Guy is.
Thank you. Coming up tomorrow, it's a NBA Friday doubleheader with the Spurs and Wolves, followed by DeMarcus Cousins' return in his first game as a Warrior as they take on the Clippers. How do you think DeMarcus Cousins will change things for the Warriors?
Well, he has the capability of being an excellent basketball player. And Marcus, who's had some trouble along the way, if he can succeed anywhere, it will be with the Warriors, who have by far the best culture in the NBA today. And so much of it is who you play with, who the coach is. And he's got it all right there at Golden State. We wish Marcus the best.
Signed a 1-year deal, hoping that he would get the big contract after this year if he wins a title and plays well, coming off that Achilles injury that happened almost a year ago when he was a member of the Pelicans. It's a 3-point Oregon lead, nearing 5 minutes to go here in the first half. King on the drive, kicks it out.
Lewis King is so much better than I thought. I mean, every time I see him play, and it's my 3rd game with him, he just gets better and better. Yes, the Egyptian Pharaoh.
Again, does he know you call him that?
Yes.
Amin. By the way, his major is conflict and dispute resolution. I'm going to talk to him after the game.
Molly, can you come over here and sit here with us?
I'll sit right between you guys. Make sure you keep it safe.
You ever been to the Nile River? Beautiful pass, Chase Jeter.
Have you?
Yes.
When?
The Egyptian Pharaoh. Swing the ball. Pump faked to draw the defense and then knock down that 3. Yeah, King Tut. There we go. And what a spectacular place. The Nile, right up there with the Amazon, is the 2 longest rivers in the world. They can't figure it out, really, because how can you get to the headwaters of the Amazon, or really the Nile, which has the 2 major tributaries, the Blue and the White Nile? Flows through 11 different countries. The 3-pointers are not going down. Fortunately, the Wildcats are able to get to the offensive glass.
They're going to say it was touched last by Oregon, so it'll stay with Arizona.
So,
yes.
Imad Amin, that's his name, right?
Ehab.
Yeah. Ehab Amin. So he's from Alexandria. It's like beautiful there. Have you ever read Peter Frankopan's The Silk Road?
I have.
Okay. What was your favorite starting point in the book? Page 311 for me.
50, 51 in that range.
Okay.
That's usually what does it. Here's Amin in transition.
Super smart dude.
Thank you. Here's White for 3. It's
That's
good.
His game.
Man, how about Oregon with a 9-point lead on the road?
Which means you're going to start talking about the guys for Oregon who are not scoring.
16-2 run the last 5 minutes by the Ducks.
So when they were here and they won that big game 3 years ago,
Randolph driving, and he was fouled on the drive. He's still looking for his first
it all
points.
turned around when Roman the Sorkinator threw it down in a baseline drive. The place here at McHale went dead quiet. Yes, but it's the Pharaoh, the Egyptian Pharaoh, Ehab Amin, one of the great players in the history of Egypt. Paul White laying it down. Yes, the Nile River flowing beautifully. Quack, quack. I love Sabino Canyon. You should see the water coming down right now and all the rocks. Spectacular morning here in the Tucson Desert. Yes, the Sonoran Desert. And when I woke up, what I did first this morning, I hit my iPad, the music came on the shuffle. You know what the first song was? You Can't Always Get What You Want. I saw her today at the reception. Oh my gosh, I've been playing it all day. So the turnovers are killing Arizona. Fortunately, they're on the offensive glass right now. And by the way, what is the definitive Duke Virginia preview?
Apparently Sean's going to give it, and so is Dallin.
So what are we wasting our time here talking about it for then?
Arizona.
By the way, today is Mick Taylor's birthday for the Rolling Stones. They're going to be highlighting the Jazz Fest.
Arizona's won for its last 11. Oregon with a 9-point lead, its largest of the game. The Ducks have hit 4 of their last 5 from 3 after starting the game 0 for 7. The shot clock at 5. Coleman leaves it for Lee.
Throw it down, Ira.
I'll tell you, since they put Wooten in the game,
changed everything.
Totally, on both ends with the rebounding and the rim and lane protection on defense. Paul White just picked up his second foul.
And how about
Ehab Amin.
Ehab Amin. Okay.
Yeah. You got it?
It took me a while to learn Akeem's name too, but then I got it. Anyway, but he's not the, he's not the first player from Egypt.
Really?
I mean, Omar, who started at USC a few years ago, he was tremendous. And then the all-time greatest player in the history of Egyptian basketball is Medhat Warda. Amin, he started playing basketball when he was 6. He was a soccer player most of the time. His dad's a doctor. Please read The Silk Roads. Peter Frankopan, one of the great books ever.
In sports, Oregon with a 7-point lead, 3.5 to go in the first half. 16 fouls now on the Ducks. This lineup for Oregon has been terrific, holding Arizona to just 20 points and 29% shooting and forcing those 8 turnovers. Shot clock is at 7 for Peyton Pritchard.
Offensive foul.
I thought that was called correctly by Steve Olson as a block. Looked like the defender.
You're entitled to your own opinion even when you're wrong. When everybody thinks alike, nobody thinks.
That was on Dylan Smith, his first. You hate that call when they call it a charge. I'm surprised you didn't agree with me.
I'm going to do that to you at the TSA line tomorrow morning. See what you think it is.
You're flying private stuff. Seriously, though, you've said...
I'm driving to Phoenix, and I'm going to stop at the Biosphere and the Ostrich Ranch, where that's an offensive foul. You got to have your shoulder outside the guy's sternum. So I'm going to the Ostrich Ranch tomorrow.
For dinner?
No, I'm going to stop and see all your buddies. You know, the guys that keep their head in the sand all the time.
By the way, they hit a 3 that was made earlier was just overturned to a 2-point basket by Victor Bailey. So it's 26-20 Oregon with 3:05 to go.
Pacheco Peak. Yeah, I'm ready. Arizona, January.
I'm going to Phoenix as well.
Really? Huh. What are you doing there?
I live there.
Really?
3:11 to go here.
I thought you lived in the TSA line.
That's very
Our
true.
hats go off to the TSA guys. I mean, it's a disgrace and stain on our soul what we're doing to those guys. That is, I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I'm disgusted. Lewis the King is everywhere. But they're not milking him. He's hot, he's playing great, and they're not giving him any opportunities to finish in the basket area.
He's 2 for 5. I don't know that I'd say he's hot. He's 0 for 2 from 3. Look at Wooten getting on the floor, hustling with that mask, and he's fouled. That's only the 14th foul in Arizona.
Do you even watch the game, or do you just decide who's playing well by who has stats?
How about Brandon Randolph? Has not scored.
Okay, he's a second-half player.
But would you agree that that's an important stat? You just criticized me throwing stats out. He hasn't scored, and they're down 6.
His team is behind, so that's a good stat.
Okay, all right. He just picked up a foul, his first.
We got an excellent refereeing crew here tonight. John, Steve, and Greg. And Steve is just back from injury. He had to miss 10 days.
That's Steve Olson, for those that want to know the full name. John Higgins and Greg Nixon. Bill Vinovich is working one of the conference championship games this Sunday. You'll be seeing Bill shortly when he gets back to doing Pac-12 games. Remember when you told him that you were Bill with 2 L's, and he said that he was as well? Here's a shot clock violation, as Amin didn't know how much was on the timer.
I have no idea what you're talking about. This crowd trying to get excited here. The offense has just been non-existent.
It's a red out here in Tucson, a packed house as usual at McHale. Over the last 5 years, they've lost only 4 games. That's the fewest of anybody in all of college basketball during that time frame. One of the losses was against Oregon in 2016.
I was here for 3 of those 4 losses. UCLA twice, Oregon, and Baylor, which was the low point of this. Kenny Wooten, that is a block shot. He's just soaring like an eagle.
Out of bounds off Arizona.
Kenny back from the Cascade Raptor Center. His health is good.
Led the Pac-12 with 92 blocks last year.
The way he gets in the air, uses his chest to keep the guy in front of him, then just knock it back, keep it in play. I love this crowd. Playing on the road. Push the crowd back in their seats. Make them become your fans.
So he now has 112 career blocks. Just a sophomore, and again had only played in 12 games coming into tonight, missing the last 3 weeks with a broken jaw.
Have you ever had one of those?
I have not.
Would you like to try? I have had one of those. Kareem.
He gave you it? He broke your jaw on purpose?
In an exhibition game, a charity game in Hawaii. Oh,
no,
yes.
Wave it off. Foul on the floor. 15 foul on Arizona. Did Laurie break your jaw as well, or just Kareem? Randall picked up his second foul.
So we have to get pictures of Victor Bailey's mom, who was a 3-time Olympian in the 400-meter hurdles.
You mean Tanya Buford Bailey?
That's his mom.
Yeah, it's just so people might want to know the name. I just was throwing that out there as you just said mom. Rebound by Chase Jeter.
I said Victor Bailey's mom.
How about Arizona? No field goals in the last 8 minutes, 0 for their last 9.
You don't believe me when I tell you that offense wins.
Well, I believe you. I'm with you on that one. Brandon Williams misses. How about
you see the Golden State Warriors get 51 in the first quarter?
And
that's offense at Denver.
140
Go
points
into your chief
games.
rival and throw 147 in their face on the road.
Not their chief rival, but still a big win.
Look, if that other team is ahead of you in their standings, that's your chief rival. Who else is ahead of them in the Western Conference?
Nobody right now. They're in first place. Knocked away by Coleman.
So they have no
Smith
rivals.
gets it ahead. Will they count the basket? They will. Goaltending and the foul.
Justin Coleman is just a beautiful player to watch. 22 years old. You know, they got the 3 guys who are well over the normal age of college basketball. Justin Coleman is 22, Chase Jeter 22, Ryan Luther
What do you
23.
think there? Is that a good call? It looked like it already hit the rim and was not going to go in there, Bill. They counted that.
If you take it off the board, does it still have a chance to? Does it have to have a chance to go in?
But it hit the rim already and wasn't going to go in here, was it? It hits the rim there. It's not going in. Keep rolling it, guys. Watch here. I mean, the play's over. That's not a goaltending.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I concur. Like the travel service.
7 years. 7 years. You finally
mark this date down in ESPN history. You finally said something right. Oh my gosh. Educational leadership, which is the major of all these guys in their graduate school studies. Chase Jeter, Ryan Luther, and Justin Coleman, who are all in graduate school.
Brandon Williams with the free throw. 26-23 Ducks. Final minute here in the first half. Taking it down inside 10 seconds on the shot clock. Here comes the ball screen by Wooten. Richardson. Wooten gives it up. Bailey for three. It's good with one on the shot clock.
Just like you draw it up. That is a Hall of Fame coach leading his team. And I love it with Dana, never an excuse about anything. Not that we're too young, not that we're too injured. We're here, we're ready to play. We're going to give it everything we have, and that's enough for me.
6 seconds to go in the half. Coleman has it stripped by Pritchard.
A lot of time.
Pritchard.
Wrong foot him. Yes, Peyton Pritchard. About to become the 6th player in Oregon Duck history to score more than 1,000 career points and get more than 400 assists. At the buzzer to quiet this crowd. Oregon Ducks flying proud high with wings of their own.
Pretty remarkable. Again, a week ago, they blew that lead against UCLA. They then blew out USC the next game, and here they are leading at halftime by 8. Dane Altman is standing by with Molly.
Thank you, Dave. Coach, how does having Kenny Wooten back change things for you?
Man, he changed a lot of shots inside. He got some rebounds. He was a big difference. A couple changed shots, and his rebounding really helped. He got a couple baskets down, so I thought he played really well.
Your defense forcing turnovers, how do you like their effort so far?
Oh, I thought our effort was good. We made some bad decisions on the offensive end. The ball movement wasn't quite what we wanted, but we played 9 guys. We had 4 freshmen out there, and they were competing, and that's what we wanted.
All right, thank you, Coach. Dave.
Now that's what makes a coaching job so tough. They're winning, they're playing great. Oh man, but I'm really down. Come on, Dana, it's okay. You're winning, you're playing great. Here we go, Ducks.
But a half to go. Arizona down 8. The Dodge halftime report with Chris Cotter and company coming up. Tyler Shire knows exactly how I feel. Balancing a circus at halftime. The amazing Tyler. Oregon leads Arizona here in Tucson by 8.
The most booked halftime show in the land. He's been doing this full time for 2 years, and you got to have a strong chin if you're going to come play in this game. And so, after that first half, I got a present for you, man. Here's some more coal.
I need this. Thank
there
you
you
so
go.
much. They won't let me in
present.
through TSA with that, though.
You're driving to Phoenix, where you live, where your wife is,
Yes.
Allie, and your 3 children.
Hey, we've got work to do.
Okay.
Plan to play, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Northwestern, the good rain, yes. Thank you, Northwestern. All Oregon. This was beautiful basketball. Penetration, draw the defense, kick it out, knock down a 3. The Egyptian Pharaoh. The defense, keep it in play. Kenny Wooten, a game changer. And Kenny's smart enough to know that his offensive game is right there. Find Victor Bailey, who's hot as could be. Peyton Pritchard, just beautiful floor leadership. Wrong foot in him, wrong elbow here. What a fantastic offensive explosion here by the Ducks.
Yeah, it was a 20-7 run, capped by that basket by Pritchard at the buzzer. How about Arizona? More turnovers than baskets. Brandon Randolph was held scoreless in that first half, and with more on Arizona, let's check in with Molly.
That's right. I talked to Sean Miller about how to get Brandon Randolph going offensively. He said that's crucial, but their matchup zone and pressing is making it tough for him to control what they're doing. He said their turnovers really killed them. He's upset with the shot selection. He said those threes were not good, and he also said his message to Randolph, stay patient, you're a second half player. Randolph averages over 10 points on 51% shooting in the second half, Dave.
And Dane Altman told Molly at the end of the first half that Kenny Wooten had a huge impact on that game. Playing for the first time in almost a month after breaking his jaw. He will not start the second half, but will play plenty.
Hey, Peyton Pritchard's defense has just been superb here. The quick hands, the anticipation.
Victor Bailey, the leading scorer in the game with 10 points. Wooten had a block, 4 rebounds, 3 points for Oregon.
The great thing about Victor's point production is that it's been the result of other people's play. Chase cannot get those runners to fall.
By the way, this coal you gave me, it says that it's a coal putty.
Coal putty, yes.
So what do I do with it?
Well, you can use it. You can chew on it. Here, just put it right in your mouth there. There you go. That's good. Okay, come on. Let me just jam that down there. You better get that mask from Kenny Wooten.
Here's a three from Randolph, and he still can't find it. He came in averaging 16 points per game. Double figures in every game. One of only 2 players in the Pac-12. Chris Wilkes the other. That's obviously in jeopardy right now.
Where's Trace Tinkle on that list?
Well, he hasn't scored in double figures in every game, so that's why he's not on the list.
No, he was. And he had double figures against UCLA the other night. That was their last game.
I'm just telling you, there's 2 guys on the list.
Okay,
Count them, 2. Chris Wilkes.
No, I got the 1-2 part.
Right, that's it.
I know about Copernicus and Galileo and Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. It is about math and physics and relativity.
Here's a 3 from Luther. And he has struggled, starting now for Emmanuel Acott, who left the team after last weekend. Pritchard fouled on the drive, the first on Arizona here in the half.
Look, if you don't want to be here, just get on your way. Don't hang around. About choices in life.
What is your thought process on? So it's interesting because Acott,
I was shocked.
He leaves, but then you have a guy like Bol Bol, who he's going to the NBA. He's done, his career is over, yet he's still traveling. Speaking of traveling, it's called there in Coral, but Bol Bol is going with the team on the road. He's still enrolled. He's taking classes. You just, in a day and age where so many are well, I'm saying, Bill, there's so many people say, now just shut it down. If you're good enough to play NFL, NBA, shut it down. But Bol Bol is still focusing on academics.
He loves his life, his choices. Like, what would you rather be, Kansas or the Conference of Champions? He had a surgery in New York. Wow, wild shooting. Arizona Wildcats, that's where all your preparation has to come in. Defense is a constant. And there's the Oregon bench right there. Josh Jameson, Director of Basketball Operations, on your right. Egyptian Pharaoh on your left.
Also known as Ehab Amin.
And then Bol.
You played for how many years against Manute, his dad?
Manute's first block shot ever in the NBA was against me. And did I ever hear it from Larry Bird and Kevin McHale?
What did they say?
Well, do you want to hear it?
That's why I asked.
So Larry comes in the locker room. We had never seen Manute go before. Larry comes in the locker room and says, whatever you do, guys, don't get your shot blocked. This was in the beginning days of ESPN, right? And so said, if Manute blocks your shot, you are going to be forever immortalized. I was open by 17 feet. And I just let it go. And Manute just took 2 steps and went to the top and caught it. And I've never stopped hearing the end of it.
Manute was 7'7"?
7'7", easy.
So he
and still a relative midget compared to Yao Ming. Beautiful pass.
And a nice defensive play by Lewis King with the reach in. King into traffic, lost the ball. No foul called.
I love the way Louis the King moves, floats over the court.
Randolph puts it up and hits his first points of the game.
It's amazing that this guy shoots so much better in the second half. His statistical production. Somebody might want to tell him that the game starts a couple hours before it actually does. Traveling violation.
I'm just impressed you read the game notes. He averages 10 points per game and shoots 47% from 3 in the second half.
Penetration and dish. That's a style. That's your identity. But if you don't practice these shots, if you don't think about them all day long, if you spend too much time thinking about strategy, remember the game is overcoached and undertaught, overthought and underplayed. Let it fly. And if it misses, get it back on the defensive end. Get the game running up and down. And Oregon has been changing up their defense literally every possession.
Williams feeds Jeter, and Wooten is called for the foul. First foul on Kenny Wooten. And the first team foul in Oregon here in lab.
Shooting 2, Chase Jeter.
Wooten's such an important player. Led the Pac-12 in blocks last year. A lot of shots altered in the first half. He's a rim protector, a paint protector. How important is it when you have just the prospect of a block shot because a certain guy is on the floor?
It changes everything because while your big guy, in this case Kenny Wooten, who's not that big, but he elevates, Your defense starts out in front with the guards. You got to deny penetration. If they get by you, fine, you have good rotation. But somebody who you know is going to have your backside, that's what makes a team defense work. And it requires everybody to do their job. But what I love about Kenny Wooten is the effortless nature of his elevation. And that's the same thing you're going to see Saturday night when the Oregon State Beavers come in here. Because Kyler Kelly, that guy's got it. Just getting started. What a future. So fluid.
He leads the country in block shots.
And he's got a great touch. I mean, he's a big guy, but he's not just a big guy. And he's a real player who started late.
He's a junior college transfer. Amin missed the three. Now Arizona on the other end. Williams.
Great defense again, Peyton Pritchard.
Several players on this Arizona team recruited and visited Oregon, but ended up playing at Arizona, including Brandon Williams. Good hustle. Amin does such a good job defensively on the ball.
Keeping it going. Give it up, Victor. Peyton's wide open on your right.
Knocked out of bounds. It's going to stay with Oregon. And when we come back, another edition of Walton's World.
Shaping the light, focusing the image, figuring it all out, trying to come back from being lost in space. Today I went to the Stewart Observatory here at the University of Arizona, where the astronomer Jared and his team are building the Magellan Adaptive Optics Extreme Camera, MAG AOX, for the 21-foot Magellan Telescope in Chile, looking for life on extrasolar planet system, a one-of-a-kind in the entire world. Is there life on other planets out there just like ours? This cutting-edge technology will be a key component of the giant Magellan Telescope. The GMT will use a series of mirrors that are as big as Lute Olson Court right here at McKale, and the adaptive optics shapes the light to sharpen the focus so astronomers can get a clearer view of other solar systems. The interferometer, which measures the shape of light, shaped me. University of Arizona, the only place in the world building these one-of-a-kind mirrors, a key component to the giant Magellan Telescope that allows astronomers to see extrasolar planets. Yes, what a day we had with Jared and with Kyle and with Laird and with Jen and Kathy and Buell. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I got to be in school again today.
There is evidence of life on other planets.
Really?
I'm looking at them right now.
Can I get there somehow?
And you got a diploma as well, as a foul is called here on
I got my diploma today. Pomp and circumstance. Da, 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 da.
Where's that white coat that you were wearing earlier?
Will Noreen be able to toast one of those on da, 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 da. I love pomp and circumstance. I cry every time I hear it.
There were some guys in white coats looking for you earlier.
I love my white coat. I love my mask. Thought about wearing it.
Does it keep you from talking?
No. Only Tim Sullivan does that.
Shot clock at 1, and it's off the heel.
Great defense by Brandon Williams, who's coming off his best game up at Cal on Saturday night, where the Wildcats played perfect offense, but right now this is a whole nother defensive level. Look at the tenacity of these Ducks.
And it's going to go to Oregon on the held ball.
This guy's the Egyptian pharaoh. He is on top of it. Ehab Amin, that's his name?
It is.
Egyptian national team player. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, 3 years there. Wow.
And then he missed last year with a hip injury. He was going to transfer to Nevada.
Look at the back cut, Paul White. Beautiful play, Peyton Pritchard. Climbing the ladder in the all-time assist leaders there for Oregon. He's up there now with both Lukes, Ronnie Lee, Kenya Wilkins.
And the lead is 10 for Oregon. 5.5 gone by here in the second half. Lee gets into the paint. Nice move. Goes to the left. Can't get it. And cleared by White.
The Arizona Wildcats are guilty of mistaking activity for achievement. And that's why your preparation has to be about shots going in the basket.
They're 1 for 9 this half from the floor. And for the game, they're 25% overall. They have 9 baskets all game.
And this is the greatest crowd in the Conference of Champions. And this crowd is just sitting on their hands.
While Paul White strokes home a three-pointer, shooting better than 50% in Pac-12 games from behind the arc.
This is an absolute clinic.
Great defense by Oregon, knocked out of bounds. You see Justin Coleman looking to his teammates, give me some help when they press. Got to have somebody to pass it to.
He can't get stuck in the corner like that. Big guy's got to stay up in the back court. The back cut, Paul White just so good, so strong, so smooth, effortless, battling through a lot of personal tragedy in his own life. Paul White has had, one is too many, but Paul White's had 3 childhood friends in Chicago gunned down. That is just absolutely unacceptable. Peyton Pritchard doing his job phenomenally well on the defensive end. And who would have ever thought? Basically the littlest guy in the team. And here he is again, poking it away.
Great job getting on the floor.
Shades of Dave Cowens.
And then he's called for a foul. He did get Brandon Randolph
This
above
guy
the shoulders.
Tough. This guy is fierce.
He's the only guy from the Final Four team 2 years ago that's still on the roster that actually played then. Paul White was sitting out as a transfer from Georgetown last year. Or 2 years ago, I should say, when they went to the Final Four. But Peyton Pritchard was a starter on that team, and his leadership has been big in that win against USC just a couple of days after they blew the game against UCLA.
And the ability of success, or success is measured by how you respond to failure. And what a failure it was. Of epic proportions, they'll never live that one down. Great defensive rotation by the Oregon Ducks.
And another foul on Pritchard. Just to back up your point, Bill, that was the greatest comeback in Pac-12 history. 9-point deficit with 55 seconds left. UCLA somehow came back, forced overtime, won it in overtime.
I still don't know who won the game. I was there, and I can't believe that UCLA won. It was very much like that Gonzaga game in Oakland when Laurie and I and Captain Jack and Tom Sack ended up in a Mexican restaurant in San Francisco teaching the mariachi band the UCLA fight song. It was over the top incredible. I did not sleep that night.
Tell us more. Actually, don't. Barcelo on the floor for Arizona, down 13, largest deficit the Wildcats have faced tonight.
Block shot.
The 3 was blocked by Amin, and now White has the loose ball. How about the defense by the Ducks?
Whoa, stick a fork in it, Paul.
This is why Dana Altman's considered one of the best coaches around, and just what he's done with this group coming off that UCLA game, the way they played the next night, and defensively what they've done here.
This is a really good team. It's not the team that they would have had, but it's the team that they do have, and they're making the most of it. And Paul White is just playing a beautiful floor game.
Think about it. If Oregon wins, it'll be only the 5th win here in the last 5 years by an Arizona
Look at
opponent.
that rebound, Kenny
Oregon
Wooten.
will have 2 of them.
Sorry.
You okay over there?
I love rebounds like that, man. His hips were above the other guy's head.
I was almost done if you just waited.
Sorry, man. Trying to learn.
At least you're apologetic now.
Okay.
You figured it out.
Well, chew on some coal here.
I've already hit 2. Shot clock at 2.
Chewable coal.
Turnover by Oregon. 4 on 2 for Arizona. They got to make it happen here. Lee gets it to go. And it's down to 11 with 11 and a half remaining.
Okay, Arizona just settled down. A possession at a time. You're getting good shots. They're not going in. The crowd will not let you quit. If Oregon starts pulling the ball out here, Dana Altman's going to take a timeout, quiet this crowd down, tell his guys to keep pushing offensively. But fortunately, Peyton Pritchard, the Egyptian pharaoh, it's all happening, the light's all shining, the images are focused.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing.
The starry night. Twinkle, twinkle.
It's an SEC ACC doubleheader on ESPN, starting with Kentucky and Auburn at 4, and then it's Duke and Virginia. It'll be the 4th time in NCAA history that a number 1 faces a number 1 technically, even though Virginia's 4th in the AP poll, 1st in the coaches poll. Duke number 1 in the AP poll.
Look at that sky here, and with this graphic about the low field goal percentage shooting. Oh my gosh, the all-time record is 32% from back in 1980 against Oregon. Oh my gosh. Arizona had just joined the Pac-10 at that time, but with guys like Joe Nels, Leon Wood, who went on to a great career at Fullerton in the NBA rep, Jerome Williams, Ray Whiting, Felton Seeley, and Ron Burns, that was the beginning of the end for the legendary coach Red the Fox Snowden here. But let me just say, because you keep promoting the Duke game, which is going to be fantastic, but the lead-in game, Kentucky at Auburn, that's been on my calendar. That's been on my calendar since the Maui Gym when I got to see this Auburn team in person. Them playing at home with their home court, that will be a game you have been suitably warned. Miss this at your own peril.
Dave Pash, Bill Walton, Molly McGrath back in Tucson, where Oregon has an 11-point lead. Only 3 teams remain unbeaten in conference play. Arizona trailing right now. Washington plays Stanford tonight. Oregon State is at Arizona State.
So Washington is playing really well. They got a veteran team, and their coach, Mike Hopkins, outstanding. UCLA, we can't figure them out. They're playing too many guys. You got to have a tight rotation. USC, wow, what is happening there? Sometimes they play great. They go up to Oregon. Another lost weekend for them. Can these Ducks continue their offensive attack, or will the Wildcats come surging back, clawing back, like the Jaguars that are facing extinction here in the Sonoran Desert? El Jefe, where are you, please? Out of bounds.
Molly McGrath was listening in on the Arizona huddle during the timeout.
Yeah, Dave, in that last timeout, Sean Miller's focus was on shot selection. He said no more bad contested shots, no more threes. He told players, earn your shots and keep the ball inside until we get into a rhythm.
He didn't mention El Jefe, during the timeout? Arizona
He doesn't like to repeat.
He used that earlier?
He uses it regularly. Center for Biological Diversity. Thank you guys, right here in Tucson. Worldwide efforts. Great defense by Paul White.
But Jeter puts it in. He's improved offensively. They weren't sure what they were going to get this year on that end of the floor from him. But he's got 9 points and 8 rebounds tonight, coming off a 23-point game against Cal, and he's got the Wildcats within 9.
This is the first time he's had that leadership role. One of the smartest guys on the team. Tremendous student athlete here in the Conference of Champions, but he gets caught up because Paul White is not going for any of these fakes. So when you come that way, nobody's moving in support of Chase Jeter. You've got to give him an out, an option to deliver a pass, and don't force him to shoot. Don't force him to take a shot that he just faked. Very fortunate to have it go down.
Good hands by Randolph getting the deflection. Here's Luther in transition.
Paul White.
Offensive foul as White draws the charge, so consecutive fouls on Luther. And it's the 4th team foul.
Did you ever play football?
I did. What do you think of this call here, Bill?
I don't like that play. I don't like the call by the refs, and I don't like the play by Paul White. I'm a huge fan of Paul White, but I don't like guys running over underneath somebody and falling down. And if the ref would just not call them.
I think they have to, though.
Remember the hook and hold play from the beginning of this season? Are you old enough to remember?
I am.
Great post-entry pass by Louis the King.
There are other things about this show I've tried to forget. As that goes in for Wooten. Not the prettiest looking shot, but it dropped. Wooten's had a big impact on both ends of the floor tonight. Here's Barcelo, a good look, and he hits it, a 3.
Alex, from up the way by you in Phoenix, Chandler, he has the most natural and pure rhythm of any player that I've seen on this current Arizona team. With more time, he can be a hugely positive force for Sean Miller. But there's just not a lot of options out there.
White, tough shot, but it goes.
Incredible balance by Paul White. His years at Georgetown, John Thompson III working with him.
Whoa. That hit the foot of John Higgins and may have kept it from going out of bounds. Here's Williams to the cup, and he lays it in. Brandon Williams, the freshman from Los Angeles.
Huge momentum switch. Dana Altman, he wants a timeout. No, he's going to let him go. And that'll just feed this crowd. The Zona Zoo leading the charge. Strike up the band. Don't over dribble it, Victor.
Bailey, no. Rebounded by Jeter.
So here's Brandon Williams at his best.
And the block by Wooten, but a foul is called, and that is 4 on Peyton Pritchard. That is a huge foul with just outside 8 minutes to go.
As a shot blocker, you got to tell your little guys, hey man, I'm there. You can count on me. Don't foul down low because I'm coming in the air behind you. Just that's a very tough call. Peyton is backing up, and you get hit in your sternum by the other guy's shoulder, his lead shoulder. And they call a foul on the defender. Please spare me, save me from myself.
Pritchard will go to the bench. We'll see how long Dana Altman will keep him there. This was a double-figure lead just moments ago, but it's down to 8.
So Arizona has 35 points. Inexcusable offense playing at this level in the Conference of Champions. What Dana Altman has to do is just tell his guys, hey, look, don't over-dribble. Play our style, which is penetration and dish, movement without the ball, come off some down screens, and then don't stop scoring. It's about offense. Who can fill it up down the stretch?
Brandon Williams with one more free throw. His dad, Chris, played high school basketball with Don McClain, and Brandon Williams went to the same high school as DeAnthony Melton, who's playing well for the Suns just up the road.
Is that Crespi High School?
It is, yep. You're old enough to remember DeAnthony Melton, right? Even though he didn't play last year?
He's playing with the Phoenix Suns right now, right?
Williams just made the second one, so it was a 13-point deficit, but it's down to 6 with 8.5 remaining.
Playing with DeAndre Ayton, who's right up there at the top of the polls for prospective Rookie of the Year. Luka Doncic, also an outstanding rookie.
I'd say Doncic is first, and Ayton is also in the conversation.
You're entitled to your own opinion. It's early.
They're going to call Jeter for tripping here. And so that's the 15th foul, the first personal on Jeter.
It was fantastic to talk to Sean Miller, as we always do at practice. The respect that he has for Dana Altman, that is not a foul on Chase Jeter, who's not related to Derek. The guy wants to fall down on his own. That's his privilege. Love Kenny Wooten's.
That was a great pass by Wooten, the basket by Amin, and a foul.
I love Kenny Wooten's discipline on offense. This is one of the most supremely gifted physical specimen that you'll ever see. He hasn't played basketball in a while. He's got a big plate in his jaw after he suffered that broken jaw in the second half of the game against Florida A&M University. What a story they are. But he kept playing the rest of the game with a broken jaw. And he kept, kind of rubbing his jaw. And afterwards, they looked at it and said, "Oh man, you got a broken jaw. We got to put a plate in there and bolt it back together." How many plates do you have?
Amin misses a free throw, rebounded by Barcelo.
Come on, you have Amin, and you're right there. You're not spending any of your time working on block shots, but making some free throws here.
Here's Randolph, held to just 2 points, 1 of 7 shooting.
Wooten.
Wow, was he up there? But he was celebrating, and meanwhile Arizona gets a dunk and a foul as Lee throws it down.
And the crowd has come alive again here at McHale. Kenny Wooten, he jumped over 2 of his own teammates to send that back. Timeout on the court, the little chairs have been brought out, order has been restored, and the Wildcats are scratching and clawing back. Arr, arr, please take this coal and chew on that. Send it back, Kenny Wooten. Conference of Champions, throw it down.
Back here in Tucson, huge mistake by Kenny Wooten. He gets a great block, Bill, but then he starts celebrating. He's not paying attention, and then Arizona gets a basket and a foul because he wasn't watching.
He jumps over 2 of his teammates, and then he stands there and he glowers at the guy who's lying on the ground. The play is still in effect. Please, never let the show get in the way of the game.
Interesting.
You have to be there and play it all the way through. When you're a shot blocker with the physical capabilities of Kenny Wooten, you have to want to block it.
5-point game. It was a 13-point game with 13 minutes to go.
And all the momentum is for the Wildcats.
Wow, a foul called there. There was a little contact. They get Ira Lee for the foul. That's the 6th team foul on Arizona, the third on Lee. Peyton Pritchard is still on the bench for Oregon with 4. He must have been holding on to him. We couldn't see it from there, but
well, he bumped him. But
Greg Nixon was watching the whole thing.
Ira Lee could play for the old Pittsburgh Steelers. He could have played with Franco Harris and Rocky Blyer.
It was actually the 17 foul, so it was a 1-and-1, and Oregon is 1 for 4 at the line now.
L.C. Greenwood, Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Ham, Chuck Knoll. That was the squad. They brought it every game. Whoa. Brandon Randolph is just totally out of sync.
1 for 8 shooting.
Lewis King has completely taken him out of this game. What a screen by Chase.
And he gets it back. Wooten goes for the block. He fouls him. Jeter can't get it to roll in, but he will go to the line. 6th team foul, second personal on Wooten.
Remember a year ago when DeAndre Ayton would ride his hoverboard around campus here? It was just like a remarkable scene to see this big, giant 19-year-old guy. Looks like David Robinson as a mature adult. That was DeAndre Ayton. But Chase Jeter, he gets around campus on his Tony Hawk longboard.
You mentioned Ayton leaving. In fact, Arizona lost 3 players to the NBA. Oregon loses Tony Brown. It was Dana Altman's first one and done as Pritchard returns. Obviously, Bol Bol is going to be one and done. But it seems like the Pac-12, more than any other conference, Bill, has been impacted by players leaving early the last few years.
The Conference of Champions does not need to make excuses. We are the best. This is where all the players want to come. Every one of us who has a stake, we have to do a better job. The coaches building the culture in the community to get more basketball interest, develop the young talent, keep them home. Look at Louis the King here.
They've had the #1 draft pick the last 2 years.
Well, 3 of the last 4 players, of the top 4 draft picks have been from the Conference of Champions.
And then you have obviously James Harden, what he's doing, Russell Westbrook. But then how about Spencer Dinwiddie? He had 33 for Brooklyn last night. Kyle Kuzma, what he's doing for the Lakers.
The Conference of Champions, second right now in number of players in the NBA, the best basketball league in the world.
83 for the ACC. Paul White gets inside for 2 to lead back to 6 for
ACC
Oregon.
is a great conference, and they've got a lot of the top stuff right now. But Conference of Champions, that's a historical level, factual designation.
ACC has a few more teams in the Pac-12 as well. 3 ball in and out for Coleman.
Peyton Pritchard, always in the right place. And a deadly dagger shooter up against the shot clock and the world of pressure. And he loves that pressure.
King misfires. He is now 3 of 10 from the floor. Jeter trailing, lays it in. Nice pass by Coleman.
Peyton Pritchard's 4th foul influenced that play. It was a terrible call. Peyton now has to just allow that penetration to the super quick Justin Coleman. Wow. Ducks are in a heap of trouble here.
They're still up by 4 with 6 minutes to go. Pritchard.
But they're not scoring.
And there was
Arizona is.
A flop by Jeter trying to draw that 5th foul on Pritchard.
And the Wildcats are closing out on Victor Bailey. Wrong foot drive there.
That's a defensive foul as Jeter.
Now that's a foul. Just like this is.
Was that on Jeter? Or are they going to get Reed for his 4th? They'll get Jeter for his 2nd personal foul. And that is the 8th team foul. Peyton Pritchard will be at the line here, where he shoots 90%.
I knew that Chase's dad played for Tark at UNLV in their championship team. I didn't know he was from San Diego, though. Morris High School.
Pritchard shooting 2. Let's take a look at our Saturday menu. ABC, they got the Thunder and Sixers at 3:30. Virginia Dukes on ESPN. UFC Fight Night. I'll be watching that to get some tips. Lakers Rockets ABC at 8:30 Eastern Time. No LeBron in that game. But how about James Harden, what he's doing? 58 last night. They lose, but he's on an incredible tear right now, playing without Chris Paul and without Clint Capella.
One of the great runs in the history of basketball. I mean, he is just filling it up. And you watch the games, and it's like everybody else is just an artifact. Everybody else is just a prop. And he is just hitting every single shot. I love watching that guy play.
Daryl Morey, his general manager, said best offensive player he's ever seen. Bill, you played against the best, played with the best. What do you think?
He's a young guy.
Daryl Morey or James Harden?
Both. So did you ever heard of Kareem? You ever heard of Wilt? You ever heard of Karl Malone?
Luther.
Offensive foul.
The defender was outside the restricted area.
So you got to learn when you're playing against Oregon. They got shot blockers. They got Louis the King, right? You get by him, come to his stuff in the mid-range. Don't think you're going to get all the way to the hoop. Hey, Ryan Luther's a very smart guy. Know what your strengths are and know who the other team has. Get into the opening, make him come to you. Somebody will be open and lay it off.
I can't even tell anymore what's a block, what's a charge, because the defender, Okoro, races over there to make sure he's outside the restricted area. It's hard to tell if he's set, but the offensive player is so out of control.
The fans here, they didn't like it.
Did you agree?
They sure loved it in the Willamette Valley.
But if you're Luther, you're almost setting it up for the official because you're out of control driving to the basket like that. Do you agree or not? You haven't really said anything. Here's King, spins out, batted around. King's got it.
The quickness of hands, the mental anticipation of Louis the King. I'll wait until we have a moment you can reset your question. You want better answers? Give me better questions.
Offensive players, they're out of control too often. It makes it a little bit easier for the official because they're not under control when they penetrate.
Who's responsible for the contact? Who's responsible for the violation of rules of human decency? Peyton Pritchard. Where are their shoulders? Where is their footwork? That's what it's all about.
I guess what I'm asking, Bill, is don't we need to, if you're a coach, teaching offensive players to be more under control, because that secondary defender comes over, you're making it an easier call for the official.
Where's the coal, man? I told you, when you get around, when you get that one open, you get that one opening, you got to make a decision, and that's where champions are made. Mental acuity, decision-making, emotional commitment. Do you care? And when you're going to get fouled, you got to be willing to take that punishment. If you're going to cause the foul, make a better decision and hold up just a little bit. Victor Bailey, nice pass, beautiful pass.
Paul White with the follow off the miss by Bailey. White's had a very nice game again tonight.
He's been playing that way for a long time, but he's a quiet guy, a quiet contributor. And Sean Miller, he needs a timeout. He can't believe what's going on right here. They were so close, but now Peyton Pritchard, Paul White, all the Ducks making major contributions. And when you come down the lane and you see somebody coming to play defense, Chase Jeter just throw it over the top. Perfect. Ducks flying high.
Time to check out our assist of the game, brought to you by State Farm.
Wow, past that ball, championship level basketball. Kenny Wooten at the high post, nobody's even guarding him. And when the Egyptian Pharaoh comes in there, is wide open. He's like the lighthouse there at the mouth of the Nile River, blinking, I'm open, give me the ball. And when you're a defender against Kenny, who's not comfortable offensively, back way off right now because he's not looking to shoot that ball. He's just looking to deliver his only assist of the game, but that was clearly our State Farm assist of the game. Thank you, State Farm. I'm a happy customer.
Wooten wearing a mask after breaking his jaw in December. He's missed the last 4 games, almost a month of action, but he's back tonight and he's impacted the game on both ends of the floor. Lewis King just picked up his 3rd foul, 17th foul. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Arizona here.
Fortunately for Kenny and the Oregon Ducks, it wasn't the lower body. He was able to run. I was up with him last weekend up in Oregon, and you should have seen him in the weight room working with new strength and conditioning coach Evan Van Beesler, who took over Adam Linnen's job. He's now Adam with the Michael Jordan team down in Charlotte there.
That would be the Hornets.
But they changed their name so much, man. I can't. He's Michael Jordan's team. That's good enough. But Kenny Wooten in that weight room, what a thing of beauty. Over the top. Oh,
not on the same
rotation.
Page. Amin and Wooten not on the same page that time.
Well, no, it was the defensive rotation by Chase Jeter who stopped the flash back cut to the basket. That's called basketball.
Wooten just picked up a foul, his 3rd. That's going to give Arizona another 1-and-1 here. How about Brandon Randolph and the job that Oregon's done against him? 1 for 8, 0 for 3 from 3. How much do you credit the defense? How much is on Randolph? How much is on his team?
It's a team game. And these guys have to learn what Brandon Randolph's capable of doing and the responsibility of the big guys to set the screens, to free up. I don't really see Brandon Randolph at this stage of his career being a one-on-one dribbler for his own shot.
It's a guy that has the largest scoring increase of any player in the Power 5, going from under 4 points per game to where he is this year.
Whoa, watch your face. But they had so many players last year. Every guy on the team is now playing professionally somewhere.
2 missed front ends in the last minute in 1-on-1 situations for Arizona, back-to-back possessions.
So we saw the vision of the future and the extra solar systems out there. These guys can't even see the basket, which is only 15 feet away.
Shot clock at 5. Pritchard missed the shot, but they're going to get Jeter.
Easy play to call.
Yeah, his 3rd foul. He grabbed a hold of King on the rebound. That'll send King to the line.
And this is why you keep going for those offensive rebounds, even though you think you might not have a chance. He's working, he's struggling, he's just giving everything he has. And Jace Jeter, you got to play your man, defend him, deny him position.
2 free throws the rest of the way for Oregon.
I was not aware of Louis the King.
What do you mean? Tonight or coming into the year?
Coming into the start of the season, all the hype was about Mobile. But seeing him play and knowing how far he's come back in 18 months, 2 knee surgeries. He tore the meniscus on his left side, and then when he was coming back, he was favoring it on the other side. He tore his ACL. Well, that's why you got to spend all your time getting a complete and full recovery as opposed to the fastest recovery. Bull, I hope you're listening, sir.
Well, he's not. He's over on the Oregon bench.
Some people can multitask.
9-point lead for Oregon. 3 minutes to go here in the second half. They led by as many as 13. Arizona cut it to 4 at one point. But again, those missed free throws costly for the Wildcats. Lee with the slam. The pass by Brandon Williams.
Kenny Wooten, at the next huddle, he's got to say, hey, look, I'm not going to come and block the guy's shot if you're not going to rotate in front of my man. Because then guys like, what's your name again? They're going to say, oh man, where is Kenny Wooten out there while his man is throwing it down? What was your name again?
Roxy.
Cole. Chewable Cole.
That putty tasted awful, by the way. Shot clock at 8.
How's the ostrich range?
Pritchard lets it fly. Spins out. Rebounded by Brandon Williams. Big possession here for Arizona.
The motorcycle and the motordrome.
Here's Randolph.
4 guards and Ira Lee.
Randolph step back. Hits a 3. Big shot for Brandon Randolph. First three-pointer of the night for Randolph.
Sometimes the lights all shining on me. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How close it is, and with the fate of the known world on the line, Peyton Pritchard steps back for a shot that he can make. It just goes down and then comes right back out. At the other end of the court, Brandon Randolph, who's been quiet, he gets isolated against Peyton Pritchard, who just missed the 3. He knows Peyton's got 4 fouls, so he can just do whatever he wants. His confidence soars, and yes, the Oregon Ducks are facing the curse of the Silver Blood Wolf Moon coming up Sunday night, 9:36 Eastern.
Remember, it was a week ago they blew a 9-point lead with under a minute to go. They had a double-figure lead in this game, a 7-point lead just outside 2 minutes remaining. It's down to 4.
That's why you have to keep playing offense throughout. And when you get tired, push yourself. You will be able to find the adrenaline necessary. Nobody's willing to take an outside open shot. They all want to create off their own dribble. Victor Bailey, that's basketball.
How about that? Bailey with a huge
perfect
3. And there was no contest at all from Arizona.
Well, it's because the defense was all trying to deny penetration. That's called basically a dribble handoff, please.
That was a huge answer for the Ducks. Bailey's hit some important baskets in clutch situations this year. But how about Randolph comes right back, or make that Dylan Smith with a 3, so Smith makes it a 4-point game again.
Get the same type of creativity for the Oregon Ducks. Some ball movement, get into the lane, the defense will collapse. Get an open shot. This is not a team of one-on-one players.
Pritchard driving with 5 fouls, hangs, misses. Gets
he's
the rebound.
The quickest guy out there. Shot clock resets. Beautiful play, Peyton Pritchard, the heart and soul of the mighty Ducks.
Arizona not electing to foul here. Oregon milking the clock. They won't have to shoot till about 30 seconds left on the game clock.
Get into the lane. Get into the lane and then turn and lay it off to somebody.
Bailey with 5. Pritchard, deep 3. Air ball.
One of the 6 worst possessions in the history of Oregon Duck basketball. Oh my gosh, what a waste.
Sports Center is coming up next here on ESPN with Kenny Mayne and Michael Eaves. 3 of the top 4 teams in action in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. Also, preview of the NFC and AFC championship games and the UFC on ESPN Saturday night.
Kenny, how are you, big guy? Tell us about the Super Blood Wolf Moon. Fill us in. Keep us straight. Keep us laughing, Kenny.
Williams hoists a 3. Won't go. Long rebound, King, and he's fouled.
Wow.
He'll go to the line for 2.
I would like to say that Oregon is in complete control here, but I was there a week ago, and did I ever hear it? Oh my gosh. Who's at the line here? Louis the King?
It is King, Louis King.
Louis King the 4th.
Louis King at the line.
McDonald's All-American, Jersey City.
Only took 1 recruiting trip. That was to Oregon. He had a lot of other opportunities.
And
that's
he gets
a
the first
there.
one. Yeah, he really can shoot it. He's really come on.
He just looks like a beautiful basketball player. He's super tall.
6'9".
Right. You know, that's the same height that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Bill Russell all were.
Bill
Dave
Russell?
Cowens.
You just said Bill Russell. Was Bill Russell really 6'9"?
6'9".
I'm sure you stood next to him.
He's 6'9".
So you towered over him, is what you're saying.
Bill Russell, the giant of all.
So Oregon.
Today's Muhammad Ali's birthday.
Yes, it is.
How cool is that?
How about Oregon and the job that Dane Altman's done? Again, we keep talking about what happened a week ago, but when you've got a bunch of freshmen and you blow a game like that, I mean, it can totally ruin your season. But they bounce back 2 days later and throttle SC, and now they may beat Arizona on the road. It would
Again.
it would be just the 5th loss here for Arizona in the last 5 years. That's fewer than any other team in college basketball during that span.
Don't forget Kentucky at Auburn.
That's on Saturday on ESPN. Yeah. That's a great game at 4.
Great game. Great atmosphere like we've had tonight in the Conference of Champions. And then Duke, they're always great.
Although they just lost to Syracuse. So
that was a great game.
Even if they beat Virginia, they're not going to be number 1, you wouldn't think, in the polls next week.
It's the effort to win that is what I'm interested in. Not everybody's going to win every game.
This would be the 2nd loss this season at McHale for Arizona, falling to Baylor. Unless they get a 3 here.
Keep the pressure on, play smart, great defense, Peyton Pritchard.
And a turnover, and that's going to do it.
Player of the game, Peyton Pritchard. Wait a second, you spoke too soon.
Smith. Got it. I'll shut up.
You said it.
Whenever Oregon's playing, I will never say that the game is in the bag.
Look at Dana.
4 seconds to go.
So today, I saw Dana Altman run in practice. Dana, who's 60 years old, he and his wife Reva with 4 glorious children. Oh my gosh. And I saw him run and I said, wow, I didn't know he could still do that.
Well, how about he always plays the other team's point guard in the scout drills against the starters. Here's the collapse from a week ago when it looked like Oregon was going to run away. They had dominated UCLA throughout the game.
They couldn't get the ball in bounds. They were fouling foolishly, throwing it down. And then, yes, Chris Smith, he knocks down the long jumper. The wild runner in the lane.
But then how about
Chris Wilkes again.
Up time with
Another
55
long jumper.
seconds left. They try to miss the second one.
And it worked.
Smith gets the basket. He misses a free throw that would have won the game, but they do win in overtime to go to 3-0 in conference play.
For the Oregon Ducks, you call it a collapse. For the UCLA Bruins, they call it never in doubt.
All right, so Oregon has 1 timeout left, and will have to inbound the ball. Arizona will foul immediately if they can't get a steal.
So the Ducks have it here. They have it. That's why you got to pass the ball, please. You see that play that they did the other day, Northern Illinois, that inbounds play was basically like the wide open formation for a football team.
Especially when you have Peyton Pritchard, a 90% free throw shooter who is open.
And Victor Bailey is a fantastic free throw shooter. He's a terrific player. Okay, now can they get the ball in bounds? Something they couldn't do against UCLA. Peyton Pritchard.
And they try to get to him and they foul him with 2.8. Now Pritchard as we mentioned, an excellent free throw shooter. And in that game against UCLA, he hit 3 big free throws down the stretch to give them a 3-point lead with just a few seconds left before UCLA tied it.
Dana Altman's teams are always excellent free throw shooters. I mean, what a player he was himself, starting at Eastern New Mexico State University. Stroke it, Peyton, right there.
All right, can I say now that they got it?
Don't do it. Don't do it, I'm telling you.
And I think Dana says, you know what, let's just be sure here. Let's have a conversation. Don't foul. If he misses a free throw, do not foul on a three-quarter court hoist by Arizona.
But you cannot just play concession defense. You got to keep playing without fouling. If you can't defend without fouling, the last play of the game. But Ehab Amin, what a game. Peyton Pritchard, spectacular. Victor Bailey, massive first half offensive eruption, critical jumpers down the stretch. Paul White, Kenny Wooten. This is called team basketball. You got a brilliant leader here, and you hold the Arizona Wildcats to 54 points on their home court. How do the Cats expect to win?
With Arizona coming in, Bill, 4-0, you still, if they lose, have 2 unbeatens left, Washington and Oregon State. Who's the best team in the conference?
Oregon State's playing really good ball. Washington's playing really good ball. Any team could beat anybody. It's going to be a great conference season. You can't say 4 games in who the best team is. That's why you play 18,
right now.
That's why you play 18 games. After watching them beat Cal and Stanford in the Bay Area, but now that's a team that looks beat. Those are the 3 anchors of the front line right now.
Washington won tonight, so the Huskies are 4-0.
Who'd they play tonight?
They played Stanford. Oregon State is playing Arizona State in Tempe. Pritchard gets the free throw. It's a 5-point game.
Now, don't just back off if you're the Ducks. Whoa. Oh!
And the Ducks win it. We can say it now.
Pat Kilkenny and Jason, the Sunflower Man. What a night here. Every time Pat comes to Eugene, or excuse me, to Tucson, the Ducks win.
Sports
He has wings of his own.
Is coming up next. Oregon hands Arizona its first loss in conference play. For Bill Walton, Molly McGrath, I'm Dave Pash. So long.
Be sure to enjoy the Super Blood Wolf Moon. It's coming. Here we go. Hi, Sean Farnham.